Leo, you must be so pleased. You started so well, but there was a bit of a sucker punch, but you just ploughed on, which was there in half time then.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You go out with the intent of wanting to start the game well, and you want to, be dominant. You know what I mean? And when that happens, the game can look very easy. And I think for supporters, maybe, and isn't everybody watching the game, it's just okay. Well, it can look easy. Whereas obviously there's a lot of work to make it look easy, but sometimes that doesn't happen. So. And you talk about a sucker punch, yeah. Listen, if you get a sucker punch, and you need to be able to adapt and deal with that on the day. And if there's referees' decisions, if there's the conditions, see it buckets out of the heavens a few different stages during the game, and depending on when that happens, you got to be able to adapt and deal with it. And credit to Glasgow, as you say, they came back and have a really well worked try. Hit us the middle of the field, come back to short side, and then get us on the open side. So. Yeah, and they finished well. So, and then it's probably a little bit tit for tat after that. They're trying to pin us back our end. You just got to try and manage those different kick battles that take place in the game. And so I thought guys kept the composure pretty well during that first half, and managed to take a couple of opportunities even after the try was disallowed, whatever it was, that 24 minutes was it. And they were able to score quite quickly after that, and then score again. And then we were debating the merits of maybe going to the corner versus Jack felt it though. He said he felt it and goes to the corner, and we scored before half time. We don't, and then everyone's asking why we can take 3 points. But that's the feel in the game. Listen, when it works, it's great. It doesn't, everyone asks the question why. So whatever decision you make, you got to make it the right one. So, listen, the game, the second half, then it's once you've got a bit of scoreboard pressure. Glasgow, we know, will have to play. They need to play. Obviously, they empty the bench pretty early, and anyway, we can get the job done. That's what it's all about. Getting through the next round and not getting too excited.
There seemed to be a lot of focus. There was a social media post last night that caught a lot of attention. We're not here to prove people wrong. We're here to prove ourselves right. Is that a mantra in the club? Did you feel there's a lot of pressure coming into it, or your thoughts on that?
Never heard that mantra, so, but I wouldn't be a big social media man, so I don't know who that comes from. So I don't know.
But is that? Do you feel like there was a big huddle beforehand, and then as well? Was there? Did you feel like you had a point to prove to everybody?
As in, we always feel like a point to prove. As in, certainly I do anyway, because that's just the nature of the job that. As in, I'm in. So, and the team are in a pretty similar situation. So, listen, we'd love to go out and win every week. What have we played this season now? So, 18 regular season games, 2 knockout games now, 4 regular season Champions Cup games, 3 knockout games. So, what's that? 27 games. Next week, I get to play in the 28th game of the season. Perfect season is 29 games. You win 29 games. So, we'll get to play in 28. So, we've lost 3. Every week we feel like we've a point to prove, so I don't think it's hugely different, to be honest.
The huge occasion look forward to be at the same Croke Park next weekend.
It's unbelievable. That's in terms of that piece, with St. Peter there, it's sometimes I find myself, particularly when you're in South Africa, I'm pinching myself really in those stadiums, which as a kid watching rugby, you think, listen, I leave school in 1996, Jack. I'm not sure what age you were in 1996.
I was born anyway compared to some lads.
Exactly. We had someone come into the academy who's born 2007. No, 2007. But anyway, we've you do pinch yourself a little bit, so I personally have so much respect for those teams, and we were in South Africa last year for a semi-final, obviously lost in Loftus, and it's not a great place to end the season. And listen, there's joy for us in the fact that we have another week together. It's great, and there's some great characters in the group that have been around a long, long time. Have been great servants for the club, and I know every club will have their version of that as well. So anyway, listen, it's making sure we have a great week now and get excited about putting on another performance, and show what it means to play for Leinster and show what it means to represent the province. As I said, there's so much great work goes in. We've a playing group that's, they're learning all the time. That's their young men, and some have been around a bit longer than others. But particularly for the younger players that come through into the team and playing the playoff games for the first time, some of them. And you're just growing from the experience, and that's what sport is. We try to do things in the right way. We've a staff that work incredibly hard to to do what's best for the team and get them in good shape. And listen, it's great some of the recognition with some of the squads that are picked and that go on. But listen, again, there's so much going on over the course of a season. Can you play your best every week? Listen, they're not robots, you know what I mean? So that's the thing. You're playing against the opposition that are fully motivated as well. So, but anyway, listen, it's about dusting ourselves off now. A lot of good effort goes into playoff games, very physical game. I'm sure the other game will be pretty physical as well. We don't have to travel too far for the game, thankfully. And we probably try and need to make that count and how we go about preparing. So, because that's the bit we can actually control. There's other bits that we can't control, unfortunately.
Yeah, from a player's perspective, where did that performance come from?
Well, like we always knew we had it in us, you know. It's obviously been a trying few weeks and a bit of disappointment. And like as Leo said, we always want to go out there and be at our best. And I thought we prepped really well throughout the week. I think the messaging from the coaches and players was spot on. And you know, when you play a team that you've played a lot quite frequently, and a team that, you know, give it back to you in spades, like there's that extra motivation to be your best. And you know, we spoke about just being physical and being dominant, and I think we were for the majority, which was really pleasing. And you know, we'll use this as another stepping stone for next week.
How important was it to feel that dominance again? I feel like just to feel good about it again and have a performance like that, and feel the crowd behind you again like that.
It's good, yeah. It's fantastic, and I think when we properly show up and we're on it, you know, we're very hard to deal with. And you know, I think the game couldn't have started much better for us. You know, Sammy's kickoff, Tommy's turnover into the corner, Wall dominance, then playing out, and then lads just playing on the gate line, and it paid dividends. And it's exactly what we said we wanted to do during the week, and it paid off, which is great. So, you know, it was a good start for us.
How much will you relish 7 of the Bulls at the moment, 30? Whichever team comes over, how much you relish that physical challenge of going against the Scotland team across the park, especially there?
Yeah, hugely, you know, but you know, it's never about who we play, it's always about us and what we want to do and getting better, as Leo said. And look, even though it was good today, it was disappointing to concede those 2 tries closer to the end, and there's lots of fix-ups and things we want to get better at. And look, it'll all count for nothing if we don't push on again and show that level of dominance that we did today. So, you know, we're not getting ahead of ourselves. You know, it's going to be a tough task next week. And look, we have the benefit of now resting up and watching that game, and you know, coming in next week and enjoying the week, finals week. It's been a while since we've been in a URC final, so it's a huge importance to give lads a proper send off and to be at our best again.